Hey there, beautiful people. It's Dina bringing another daily dose. Have you ever been planning for something for a long time or putting a lot of effort into something and you're very excited about it, and then it comes and it doesn't work out the way you thought it would, or there's disappointment, or you're even discouraged because it's not what you expected it to be? Or maybe you see other people having success and having their breakthrough or experiencing the things that you've been praying for, and it just doesn't seem to be happening for you. I have been there many, many times, and I just want to talk about that with you today. So many times I have felt like I have missed something or I have done something wrong to deserve whatever came at me. And it took a long time for me to finally realize that it doesn't have really anything to do with whether you have dotted all your I's or crossed all your T's or done everything right. A lot of times it's God's timing. A lot of times there's something that we can't see that's being worked on behind the scenes. So many times in my life, there have been tragedies or very difficult situations that I've walked through. And in that moment, I couldn't see what God was doing. But afterwards, I was able to see that not only did he, save me from something that could have been potentially worse, or most of the time it was that he was really doing a work inside of me that I couldn't see. And that by walking through that, I became a stronger person. Every single time that I have gone through something hard, if I choose to, and I choose to press into God, I will see what he was trying to show me. And I will gain the character that is necessary to be able to be stronger for the next time. But it was the times that I was resistant and the times that I was in that, this isn't fair. Why is my time not happening? I've been praying. I did everything you asked me to do. And then you kind of get into this pity party, which honestly is the spirit of pride. Whenever we're looking at somebody else's success and wishing that we got that, that is the spirit of pride. And God can't work when we're operating in the spirit of pride. I would have never thought that I was a prideful person until God started to break apart and show me what pride was actually doing in my life. So we can get into these victim mentalities where it's not fair. That was really where I was at. I'm a twin, so we were raised with everything being fair. If you're a twin or know anybody that's a twin, everything was the same. Even my grandma, bless her heart, she used to even count the amount of jelly beans. Like if my brother got 3 red jelly beans, then I got 3 red jelly beans. That's how I grew up, that whatever I got, he got. But then as you grow older, you realize that that is not possible for that always to be the same things. And there were times my brother would succeed at something that I just couldn't understand why I was not, and probably the other way around as well. We each have our own journey to go down. And so it can't always be fair. Life is not always fair, but I lived in this. This isn't fair. Why do I have to go through this? Other people don't have to go through this. And what I've learned along the way, and God bringing me through some very difficult things, difficult relationships, difficult business dealings, difficult health issues, financial issues, endless financial issues, parenting issues, that every single thing that I have had to endure or that I've walked through, number one, is not all that he didn't put all that in my life. We live in a fallen world. We live in a world where other people do things and we have consequences of that because of other people's actions. That's the free will that we get. But a lot of times it was things that I did or things that I was not actually seeing very clearly that he used to develop the character in me to be able to be strong, to be able to rise above difficult circumstances. So when you're in a situation that just doesn't seem like it's going your way, or like, why is everybody else winning and I'm not winning? There might be a reason that God is holding you back. It might actually be protection. So there's been so many times that I felt like I didn't get my way, or not even get my way. It's not so much that, or that there was a disappointment, and it was actually a protection. It wasn't a rejection. It was a protection because it might not have been the right timing. Maybe I didn't have the character that I needed to be able to withstand that blessing that was coming and everything that would come at me. Because just because you pray for something good, there's a weight to that blessing that you have to carry. And if your character can't handle that, it could crush you. And I have said that many times on these videos. So God knows what we need. He knows exactly the timing. His timing is divine. He will give you all the strategies, all the tools, everything that you need to do. But in order for you to hear him, in order for you to understand him, you've got to rest in him. You have to trust him that he has a plan for your life, and it is good. It is not to harm you. There is a future and a hope. You also have to believe and trust the fact that he will work all things out for your good according to the plan that he's called for you and for your life. My life is not somebody else's life. So I might look at somebody else's life and think, I've done everything they have done. Why don't I see the same results? Because that's not my path. There's been plenty of times that I've prayed for something, and now looking back, I am so grateful that God didn't answer those prayers. And then there's times that I prayed for something and it took a long time. And then when the time that he did answer that, I was better able to receive that. And I remembered that God was the one that did this for me. It wasn't something that I had to do or a hoop that I had to jump through to get that. So the biggest part of this message that I want to leave you with today is that, yes, we do have disappointments. Yes, there's things that are discouraging, especially when you're seeing other people win and you're not. And you're doing all the right things. Now, if you're one of those people that's just, kind of letting life take over and you're not doing the inner work, then your season will come where you're going to have to realize that you've got to put in the work. But if you are putting in the work and you're doing all the things right and it's still not coming, then you still have to trust the God of the universe, the creator that made you, as the blueprint for your life. There's a plan in that. He's not trying to harm you. He's not trying to withhold from you. It will come in the right timing. Sometimes those seasons are long. For me, some of it has been decades. I think back now, I remember thinking I was never going to get out of it. And I look back now, and sometimes it's hard to even remember the pain that I was going through because of where I'm at in my mindset and in my heart today. I had to put in the work. I had to do what was necessary for me to be able to receive that. So sometimes we're just not in a place to receive that. Sometimes it was just not our time to advance in that area that we were trying to prepare for. Sometimes there's something that we just can't see. He's working behind the scenes, and there were seeds that were planted. Sometimes that'll come up later when the right timing is for that. So anyway, I really just want to leave you with that. I want to encourage you that when there is a disappointment, that doesn't always mean that that is a bad thing. Sometimes there's something that God will show you. So in my journey with 𝗀𝘂, and this is why I even started this channel, when I first started my journey with 𝗀𝘂, it was a disappointment. And I'm not saying she was a disappointment, so please don't hear what I'm not saying. She is beautiful, and I can't imagine my life without her. But if you are a special needs mom and you've gotten that diagnosis, or you start to realize now that your life is not going to be the way you planned it to be, there is a grieving that you have to go through. There is a disappointment, even a despair that I went through. I could have never seen back then, 14 years ago, that God was going to use that to transform my life, that he was going to use the thing that I thought was the biggest challenge to actually be my greatest blessing. Certainly wasn't praying that God would take my daughter out of my life, but I was praying that he would take the pain, the struggle, the frustration, the overwhelm, the stress, all of that stuff that came with the extra responsibilities of raising a child with special needs. She also came into my life at a time where I was really struggling. We were struggling in our marriage. We were struggling financially. I was running a very large youth outreach and having a lot of issues with trying to juggle all those plates. So it wasn't just that God blessed us with another child. I was 42. We were in the busiest season of our life, and I was having a hard time managing all that. And my mental state was not in the best state to be even being able to do that. So I was certainly praying for help through all of that. But what God showed me, that what I thought was my prison actually became my promised land. It actually became what birthed my true purpose. And it really developed a better person in me. I love who I am now. And I wouldn't change anything for the world. Honestly, obviously there's challenges that I wish I didn't have to go through. But it all has contributed to who I am today. So if I look back now, I'm thankful that God didn't answer all my prayers. I'm thankful that I went through the trials. There's a scripture that talks about it, count it all joy when you go through trials, because I believe that it is what builds us. I believe that it is the thing that helps us to be closer to God. I don't think I would have run to God and pressed into him if everything was going well in my life. And I'm grateful now for the times that I didn't have my way. And even if there's a disappointment in my life right now, I'm able to look at it and say, okay, God, I trust you. I trust that there's not something I did wrong. And if I did, you're going to show me. You're going to show me what it is that I still need to do. And it's not about shame or guilt or condemnation. And he doesn't sit there and say, you did this wrong, so I'm withholding this from you. God never withholds something from us. Unless it's meant to harm us, and he's trying to protect us, he's not withholding it from you. There is a divine timing in everything. And so when I go through something that seems disappointing or didn't go the way I wanted it to go, I have to press into him and say, okay, what is it that you want me to see out of this? Is there something in me that needs to change, or do I just need to wait? Do I just need to wait patiently because maybe there's something behind the scenes that I didn't know that you were doing? You're doing something divine that I don't know that's going to be part of this purpose in my life. So I hope this encourages you. And I pray that if you're going through something disappointing, just hang on. Don't give up. The creator of the universe loves you. He's with you. He's not left you. He's not forsaken you. He's closest to those that are crushed in spirit, and he will save those that are brokenhearted. I promise you. So until we come back together again, have an awesome day, and I love you. Bye.